I have to re-record this whole thing, so pardon me if I am a little frazzled. Budgeting can be so difficult sometimes, especially when random expenses come up. So I thought it would be a good idea, especially with the beginning of the year being here, to maybe look at something like that. Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm a mom of two and under, and today we are actually going to be talking about our January budget, and there are going to be some caveats right off the bat. Hopefully this all works right. And yes, my mic is working this time. I think my mic died like in the middle of the last time I recorded this, and I didn't realize until the very end, and I'm kind of frustrated. So hopefully this works. I have redacted a few things just because I feel like it will help with some of our privacy and things like that. So my husband is the sole breadwinner in our home. Currently, I'm working on some side hustles that might bring in stuff, but I do not currently have money that is coming in. So this is all from his income. So our net monthly take-home income, I blocked out our gross and our pre-tax and our tax and all of that. So our net monthly is $3,683.65. I also blocked out our tithes. We are Christian, and so we do believe in the law of the tithe. It's redacted because I don't feel like it's necessary. This is our first major caveat, and that is this house is my parents'. My parents built it recently and are allowing us to live here at an extremely reduced rent. This rent number is actually not completely correct. It says we're paying $375, and that is directly to them as rent. My husband has this whole system, but $225 is going into a high yield savings account as a rent savings, and it is for maintenance on the house, and it's so that we don't have to ask for reimbursement from my parents when something like that happens. It's something that we can draw on, and it's something that they can draw on if they choose. So that's how that works, and once we move out, all of that will be going to my parents. It's just because we are both tenants and property managers technically, and so that's how we're kind of getting around having to ask for a reimbursement from my parents. And this will be monthly that happens. But basically what it actually comes out to is $600 in rent, basically. The next thing is utilities, and that is bolded because the bolded things have variability in them, and our utilities we have set at $250 right now, but that is almost a guarantee that will not be right. We do know that we have a few things that are definitely the same thing every time, but there is some variability within it as well. So if you go over what they allot you for water and for gas too, I think, they charge you an extra fee. So, but with electricity, it's normal. I can't remember now, but we'll find out. We actually haven't paid the utilities here yet. My parents have been taking care of it because they were still building the house up until like a month ago. We were not in the house until less than a month ago, so they were paying the utilities for it. Next, we have insurance. It's up in March, and so we might be looking for a new insurance for our car and rental insurance. We are currently with Liberty Mutual, but we have a few discounts with them. Actually, we have a lot of discounts with them just because my husband is a very safe driver. I was a safe driver until we got into an accident about 2 years ago or something like that. And I was the one driving, and I was definitely at fault. Basically, we might be looking into new, we'll see. This next thing is set. It technically could be variable, but it's fixed for now. And that would be our cell service. And that's for both my husband and my phones. And then for our smartwatches, it's $60. The next thing is subscriptions. And again, we're looking at possibly canceling some subscriptions or combining some subscriptions because both my husband and I have Google One or Google Plus, Google One, whatever it is, to have more storage for our Google stuff. And you can share with people. We are trying to see if we could potentially combine that, and then we would have half the subscription instead of 2 times the subscription. Next is groceries, and this includes not only food, but it also includes hygiene and household items. I just didn't want to split it up. We currently have budgeted $400 for it. Now, that may or may not be correct. We do qualify for WIC, but only for my girls, whereas before my younger daughter turned 1, we qualified for me as well because I was breastfeeding. We might have to adjust it, but as of right now, I'm pretty sure that I can stay under $100 a week, and it's technically a little less than $100 a week. For now, our budget is $400. Next, we have restaurant, and we have budgeted $100 for this. This includes when my husband gets food when he's at work. He usually spends at least a couple dollars, not all the time, but he usually spends at least a couple dollars because of the discount that he has with work and things at their cafeteria. The next thing is gas, and we have $75 budgeted for this, and this is our gas for our car, and that would be about 2 tanks full, maybe 2.5 if we find really cheap gas. We just have the 1 car, and I usually have it. My husband rides an electric bike, and he rides that to and from work and kind of around town sometimes. Less so now that we're a little bit farther removed from town living here. So that is part of the electric bill, the gas for that, basically. Next, we have kids. We have $150 budgeted for this, and that includes childcare, diapers, and clothing for the kids. We are using fewer diapers with our day-trained older daughter, but she is growing out of her clothes so fast that I am almost constantly looking for certain clothing that she needs. So $150 for it for the month. Next, we have items and furniture, and we have $100 budgeted for this, and this is kind of a sinking fund, and it's for when the house needs something furniture-wise or item-wise. These are it's kind of household stuff, but it's not household supplies. With moving, we chose to get a desk for my husband and a few other things for the house that will help us be able to keep the house nice for my parents. Those things would have come out of this fund. Next, we have fun and entertainment. We have $40 budgeted for this, and that is things like going to the movies, having a day out with the kids. If we go to museums or zoos, it would come out of here. Next, we have $40 for clothing, and that's for my husband and me. We don't need clothing very often, but sometimes, since, you wear things out. Sometimes my husband needs new work pants or something. Technically that comes from the work budget, but what doesn't come from the work budget is his, what is that called? His rain pants, I'm going to say, like rain coveralls. Since he rides a bike to and from work, there's rain and snow that could make it so that he's unpresentable when he gets to work. He's too wet, or his feet get wet, or whatever the case may be, and so we have rain pants for him to keep him dry. Problem was, with this bike, there's like a box that he has on the back of it that is kind of like a trunk. It would have been like 2 or 3 months ago now. He forgot to close it, and his laptop fell out, and apparently his rain pants fell out. His laptop is okay, the corner's smashed, but it's like totally usable still. But he didn't realize that he had lost his rain pants until recently, and so we had to replace those, and it came out of this fund. Next, we have gifts. It's $30 that we've budgeted for this, and that includes gifts for birthday parties that we've been invited to for my older daughter right now, but maybe younger daughter soon, who knows. And then it also includes gifts for like my husband and me, for each other, and then also for the kids. Christmas gifts are kind of separate. We should do a fund for that, but we do not currently have one. We will probably by the end of the year have one, because Christmas kind of hurt a lot this year, and we didn't even really get that much. So I want to be able to provide a nice experience for my kids, and that means I need to save more for those experiences. Next, we have travel and lodging. We have $75 in this fund, and it is a sinking fund as well, where we are able to go visit family and things like that. Part of the reason why we don't actually use this much gas, like 2.5 tanks of gas in a month, no, we never use that much unless we're traveling. And then whenever we're visiting our closest family members, it takes at least 2 to 3 tanks of gas. The extra tank and a half or extra tank or whatever it is in this fund covers those kinds of things. And yeah, like I said, travel and lodging covers Airbnbs and things like that, hotel rooms for our family, because we have 2 young kids. It's really hard for me to ask our family members to house us for a day or 2, or even just overnight, when I have 2 young kids that still cry and wake up in the middle of the night. I just feel like it's an imposition, and so I don't like doing it anymore, especially now that we have 2 kids that are young. So that leaves just over $1,000 in savings, or that we put into savings. We are currently working on our emergency fund, and that just is our 3 to 6 month fund. And until it's fully funded for 3 months, everything left over is going into that fund. Once it's funded for 3 months, then we will revisit. It will probably be a pretty good portion will still be going to it until it's 6 months funded, and then again we'll revisit. After that 3 months though, the rest of what we'd be saving would be going toward a car for my husband, because again, he rides an e-bike. So we're going to need a car for him eventually, and probably sooner rather than later. So we have a few things that we're saving for. Our saving goals would include things like obviously the car. We want to buy a house. My husband is going to be going to medical school. We need to save for that because he will not be able to work. It's also a pretty good reason why I am building this channel. I of course want to build myself personally, but I also want to build other people. And then of course, once the channel has enough traction, then it can also earn some money for me. Our savings is in a high yield savings account as well. So pretty much everything is routed through these high yield savings accounts that we have. We have a couple, one that we typically use and one that this rent savings is going to be going into, so that my parents have access to it and so that it's also earning, because in this economy, I have a high yield savings account video coming out later this month, either next week or the week after. It depends on what I decide to do with next week's video, the one that is currently scheduled. I might need some more time to test. You won't want to miss it, so make sure you subscribe. If this video was helpful to you, make sure you give a thumbs up and leave in the comments below categories that you have that we don't have or things like that. Once the high yield savings account video is up, it will be linked right here and you can go ahead and watch that one. Or of course, if it's not up yet, this one is my meal planning video that we did last week, and that one I hope will be very helpful for you as well. I'll see you there.